Hey everybody, JJ here, back again for another Saturday of Zoom networking. As always, I'm really excited about today's guest speaker. I'm excited about every guest speaker because they're my friends. What better thing than I could do to bring my friends on and talk, get acquainted, and let you guys know who the fantastic people are out there doing real estate right now. Our guest speaker today is an amazing young man. He's a rock star to Pace Morby Sub 2 community. He is a student, like the rest of us, has become an entrepreneur, successful investor. He's a leader of his own group. He's a father, husband, family man, juggling all that stuff, which means, like the rest of us, we're up at 5 in the morning, working till 11 at night. But most importantly, he's just a heck of a great guy. A guy I'm honored to call my friend, my good friend Chris Thompson. Chris, how are you?
I'm great. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. Doing
Appreciate
great.
you having me on, man. This is awesome.
Oh, hey, brother, I've been waiting to get you on, man. Yeah, we got the beard. We got to get you and Jason Lombardi together because you are the Beard Brothers.
Hey, we're in competition. I might be catching him now, finally.
Yeah, you're looking good there, brother.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
really quick for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
I live in Maryland, roughly 60 miles from DC.
Wow. Yeah, we were talking the other day how beautiful that must be there. Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, and as you can see behind me, we don't have a lot of open land. But
Nope, not much there.
I think of Maryland, I think of like racehorses and countryside. Is it Pimlico? Is that what you guys have out there?
Yeah, Pimlico's over in Baltimore.
Wow, to me that's just beautiful land. Um, Now before we get into your topic today about branding and the power hour,
Mhm.
which of course we're going to talk about, wanted to talk about how you got started. We all get started a different way in real estate. Some of us are around it as teens. Mom is an agent, dad's a contractor. Some of us don't get into it till later, till well after. Like me, I'm 112 years old, right? So I didn't get into it till after I turned 90. You know, but some of us come across it later in life. Some across earlier, midlife, whatever it happens to be. When we're making that transition, for you being a younger guy into adulthood, we're driving at 16, we're voting at 18, we're combining alcoholic beverage at 21. What were you doing through those developmental years? I mean, from high school into college or your 20s, was real estate around you in any way, shape, or form? Or what were you doing through those developmental years for yourself?
So I got my start in real estate actually when I was 10. My dad was a realtor, grew up blue collar. So you nailed that one on the head. Grew up blue collar. Both parents worked. Had to. I was extremely grounded. No idea what I did because it was too long ago. I just know I didn't do that anymore. So I got stuck going to work with dad. So I went on my first home inspection when I was 10. That was the longest 4 hours of my life. I don't remember what I did. I just know I didn't do that anymore. So that's how I got in and started into real estate.
Now,
When I was in high school,
were you still doing that like in high school and into your teens and 20s?
being grounded, plenty.
Well,
Um,
being around real estate, were you still was dad still
yes.
keeping you?
So yeah, my dad was a realtor. Started when I was 9. His second career. Um, and just kind of going through the motions. Back then, the magnets with the football schedules were the big thing. So I literally used to ride my bike around and just stick them on every mailbox. I used to get like $10 for a stack this big. And then through high school, I was his basically sign person. So and this was still when fax was a big thing. Email wasn't really in yet. So I'd drag papers around for him, go get them signed, bring them back, go put a sign up, take a sign down, stuff like that.
Wow.
College, I went away. I was in college in North Carolina. I was on a lacrosse scholarship. Um, got away from Maryland, never wanted to come back. Just knew, start over all the things. Graduated college in '03, or excuse me, in '06. And started hunting for a job. Couldn't find anything that would afford me to even live on a friend's couch. But the day of graduation, my dad met me at the um, end of the stage, small school, so it was very easy. And shakes my hand. Hey, congratulations, you have 60 days. And I kind of look at him with, like a dog with his head sideways. And think, what are you talking about? You got 60 days or you're cut off and you got to move home and you're going to real estate school. Oh, goodness. Now, mind you, full class load, full time lacrosse, and I had 3 jobs in college, and my parents still supported me. Extremely grateful for that. So 75 days later, I moved back to Maryland, extremely broke. And the following Monday, I was in real estate school.
There you go. So now
So that's,
you weren't started as an agent?
yes, I started as a realtor in '06, right as the market just went straight down.
Wow.
And then '07 hit, and that's when short sales were a big thing. And a lot of the seasoned agents didn't want to deal with them because they're such a pain in the neck. That was the only business I could get my hands on. And at 23 years old, a handful of people that I knew from high school and just growing up bought a bunch of houses in '04, '05, '06. And then all the rates changed. They couldn't afford them anymore. So I was the go-to for the short sale. So that's how I actually started branding myself as the short sale person in my area, in my local market.
That's fantastic. So you've started with a little bit more experience than the average
Yes,
new investor does.
100%, 100%. And then in my investing started actually when I bought my first house in '07 as well. Bought it on the courthouse steps.
Crazy. So now,
So
you pretty much been consistent all the way through.
yes,
Um, Now you're married. You got some kids. Uh,
yes.
at what point did you get married through your real estate journey? Is what I'll call it. Was it in your 20s?
Um, I mean, I've been a realtor forever. I had a large team. Now I'm down to one, maybe 2 agents. Mostly doing a lot of it myself. The market's definitely gotten tighter, so there's not as much to be spread around. But ultimately, I would say my investing journey really got serious probably at the end of 2021.
Okay.
Um, After the market just shot up like it did for that, I knew, as since getting in the business when I did, what goes up must come down. So I knew the market was going to change on the retail side of things. So I started looking for answers. Where do we generally turn? YouTube University. And that's when I stumbled upon Pace. And I studied and studied and studied. I probably watched 30 hours of his content before I even made the call to even consider Sub 2. So then I joined Sub 2 in May of 22, started buying in October of 22. In June or May of 23 is when I went to the mastermind um, and got promoted to the Western Maryland leader. Super excited and was like, I don't think I'm qualified, but apparently you guys do. So thank you very much. It's humbling and honoring at the same time. Let's do this. But in my first 12 months in Sub 2 since I started buying, so October 22 till this past October, I picked up 26 doors between Sub 2, seller finance, and some cash deals.
Wow. I need to talk to you. Yeah.
uh,
It's funny enough. We were talking about this earlier before we started the call with the folks that are with us now. The importance of building relationships.
yes,
And finding
100%.
those that are out there that can help us.
Yeah. I mean, I currently own 30 doors,
Wow.
and 2/3 of those I own with partners. So I wouldn't have been able to scale like I have without partnering up. Um, Now that's part of what I want to talk about today is finding the right partners. I've been in plenty of bad ones, and I'm still in a couple of great good ones.
Well, and let's jump into your topic. I mean, your topic
Yeah.
today, branding, power hour, and
Yep.
finding the right JV partners. So, where do you want to start with that? Where do you want to just jump into branding
Um,
first,
let's
or
start with the partnering. So when I first got in, I came into it with the wrong mindset, being in real estate for so long. I looked at this, it was like, oh, I'm going to be retired in 6 months. I was quickly humbled because creative finance and the real investing versus retail, they are night and day different. So those first handful of months that I was in, I had to just study and study and study. to retrain my brain on how to think more creatively, but more so think sub two. So with that, I started obviously meeting people, trying to connect with people, reaching out, growing. And that's one of the biggest things that I think sub two helped change with my mindset shift was in the retail real estate space, everything is so cutthroat and people will stab you in your back for a dime versus sub two. Everyone's like, oh, hey, you want a deal? You want a deal? Hey, there's three of us right here. We can make this deal work. Let's do it. Wow. Everyone's
Yeah.
literally just there to try to help each other out. Um, so I started partnering with people. Some of them, I won't go into great detail, but some of them are facing lawsuit, which is sad to say, but trying to avoid that route, but trying to work through it and just kind of, hey, let's get this done and we'll part ways and you don't talk trash about me and I'm not going to talk trash about you.
Yeah.
But then more of the good relationships. So when I got asked to take over the Western Maryland leadership role, didn't have a clue in the world what to do, but I had teamed up with two guys here locally, BJ Marshall and Brian Poole. I've been partners with those guys since April-ish, but basically just teamed up with them and was like, hey, let's start working together. BJ is the integrator. He's a DoD contractor with a W-2, but knows all the systems, processes, and everything. Brian is a big-time flipper in the area here, all over Maryland, West Virginia, PA. So it was like, hey, let's team up. I can go find these deals. If you guys help bring some of the capital, let's split them. So we own together with those two guys. I currently own 6 doors. A couple here in Maryland, one in PA, one in Ohio. So then when
let me ask you, as you're now partnering with people and you've acquired a good number of doors, what's the most challenging aspect to finding the right people to JV with? I mean, have you found that there's now a common question you need to ask? Is there a standard thing you need to look for? Any criteria? I mean, could all join.
right,
Let's go joint venture. Let's go joint venture. But
right.
your experience now, something we need to look for, hurdle or obstacle or anything like that.
Number one thing, don't partner with somebody that is exactly like you. It will cause nothing but headaches. And I mean, Pace says it all the time. Don't partner with someone exactly like yourself. No different than he and Jamil. They're both great. They're great friends, but they can't be partners. It makes sense because they think very much the same. And that's one thing that I kind of did, I think, a lot more due diligence with partnering with Brian and BJ. BJ's a computer guy, a systems guy. I'm more of the visionary direct to seller. Brian is similar visionary direct to seller, and he and I think, are very similar, but we're both humble enough to work with each other, I guess. Now, his forte is fixing and flipping, whereas my forte is more long-term holds. So we each bring a different aspect to the partnership, and I think that's probably been our biggest success. Is, BJ does the systems, Brian has a lot of the input and more so the construction side of things, whereas I'm more of the deals and the structuring, the negotiating, more of, I guess, the acquisition side of things. But being a realtor for so long and predominantly a listing agent, direct to seller has been my forte for the last 17 years.
And for people that are new in the call right now, say there's a couple of brand new investors or someone's watching on YouTube right now as a recording weeks or months down the line. For those that aren't aware, what is direct to seller?
Direct to seller is finding somebody that wants to sell their home that's generally not on the market. A lot of times they're going to call realtors, which is obviously my past and my history. But finding somebody that either needs to sell, wants to sell, doesn't want to deal with the hassle of putting it on the market, having people coming through, showings, all the things like that. So a lot of times if somebody has a ton of equity in the property or no equity, they're going to look to an investor to make that process smoother, faster, whatever fits what they need.
Joint venturing is challenging in itself, right?
Yes.
Now, obviously, someone's not like yourself, so maybe a different field of expertise.
Mhm.
Do they have to be in your community? Can you joint venture with someone in a different town? Uh,
No, I don't think so. But I mean, the best thing that I could say is do a ton of due diligence, and then as soon as you think you've done enough, do some more. You just really, really vet people, um, and just make sure it's going to be a good fit. And no different than Pace teaches us, plan your divorce before you plan your marriage. It makes all the sense in the world. So your JV agreement should basically be, I guess, like your prenup of if these things don't happen, then these things now kick in automatically. So that way, if there is an issue, there's no discussion. It's already pre-written out.
that's great.
Uh, we have a property in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, that our DSCR refi came in really, really low. So we're not able to pull all our cash out. So we've had to redo that JV agreement now 3 times. But we all base it
Great.
off of the original JV agreement that we had. These things happen that were out of our control. So now we need to adjust this. But just for that one property, we've redone the JV agreement 3 times.
And then
Um,
each time you're redoing it, that you're agreeing on the new format.
correct.
So
So
there's
we
no
all so we
conflict. Yeah.
so I mean we talk it all out and we're like, okay, if A then B, if B then C, so on and so forth. And it's okay, well, we thought this, but now it's this, and we got to adjust over here. Are we all good with this? Are we all on the same page?
Oh man,
Yes.
that is a gold nugget right there. Because we all talk about joint venturing and finding a partner. Let's get into a deal. Do we need to make an LLC? Yeah, I that is so huge.
Yeah.
We want to plan our exit strategy as we acquire property, but as we jump into partnerships, we need to plan our exit strategy
Yep.
because they're not all going to last for the rest of the time.
Exactly. I mean, there was a partnership that I tried um, with somebody from the free group. Um, Talked to him a lot. Almost did a couple deals with him. So it's like, all right, well, we'll try it out. Horrible idea. I lost 5 grand because he just lied through part of it and then didn't perform on the other part of it. So, and as much as I want to point fingers, I'm a big thumbs guy. It's my fault for not doing enough due diligence up front to make sure this was going to be a good partnership.
Point.
So, we always want to blame everybody else. I get it. I'm in the same boat. But at the end of the day, you're the one that made that decision to go into whatever that was. So either you got totally bamboozled and blindsided, which is very possible. It's happened to me. Um, but at the end of the day, the reason I got bamboozled and whatever didn't work out, it's still my fault for not doing enough of whatever it was that I should have done, more research, more testing, whatever the case may be.
Well,
Um,
let me ask you. I'm always talking about getting to know people, right? I mean, I'm the network guy. Is a situation like that something that could be possibly have the error minimized, maybe if we're looking a little bit more into who the person is and getting to know them a little bit more?
yes,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
And playing off of exactly what you just said, this partner that I tried to do a wholesale deal with in Florida, I didn't get to know him enough. All I was focused on was the deal. That's my own fault.
Yeah.
I should have gotten to know this guy better. I should have done more outreach and talked to some of their old partners. Hey, how's it working with this person?
And that's one of my favorite quotes is don't chase the deal, chase the relationship. And I'm sure
100%.
with that vetting includes asking for references, people they work with before. If you guys are new, whether you're on the call now or watching on YouTube, if you're a new investor, there's so many investors out there that have experience that, you know, you can hold off for the guy that doesn't have any experience and try and look for one that does. Does it make it more difficult on you new guys? Probably, but there are
Yeah.
ways that you could earn your opportunities, earn your right to be in those deals. And that's again, by building relationships. Um, can we switch gears and jump into branding, or do you want to talk about the power hour?
Yeah. We can go to the branding.
Sure.
Um, so branding, I mean, number one thing, stay consistent with the message. I did here locally in DC a couple months ago. We did a big event. Somebody in the community does a big salsa event, salsa dancing. Super cool. I was exhausted by the end of it, so I didn't get to stay and watch a lot of the cool stuff. But they tied the two together. So we ended up having, I think it's my background on Facebook, but we had like 200 people there, and I got asked to speak about branding. So of course I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. But overall branding, like if you look at companies like Coke, Pepsi, Nike, Under Armour, they all have a logo and they all have a 3-word saying. Nike, just do it. McDonald's, was it make it your way or something like that? Or that was Burger King. But essentially all these big brands, just look at their slogans and their advertising, copy it, but make it your own. Their marketing budgets are infinite almost. So don't try to recreate the wheel. Just copy what somebody else is already doing and working.
Yeah. Gold.
So like as a realtor, my marketing is never going to compete with Zillow. So how do I draw attraction to myself, to my website, to my listings outside of what Zillow is doing? I need to make it smaller. I need to make it niche. I need to make it more focused. So like you said earlier, it's not about the deal, it's about the person. So when we're marketing and we're branding, we're selling ourselves. Like my beard is part of my brand. People know me as the big bearded guy. Okay, great. I take it. I love my beard. But overall, how you dress, that's also part of your brand. I've made it to where now in the summer, I look like I'm going fishing shoes, shorts, fishing shirt, generally a hat. Let's go to work. Winter, jeans, boots, hoodie, or a flannel. But that's me. That's what I'm comfortable in. And if somebody is more comfortable with somebody in a 3-piece suit, great. I'm probably not your guy.
Yeah.
I'm not your guy.
I'm the same way. And we all have different aspects of ourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We all have for me, even sometimes I have more of a conservative perspective on things. Sometimes I have a little bit more wild, carefree perspective on things. And I have to realize what kind of audience I'm dealing with. Yeah. And staying within my own realm of who I am, still present that side of me that's going to resonate with who I'm talking to.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with your logos, I have 4 different logos that I use right now. And one's for my retail real estate, one is for my investing solo, one's for investing with partners, and I forget what the other one is. But whatever message I'm marketing, I make sure I use that. Cool. One of my biggest attributes to my brand is posting on social media. I started about 4 years ago, posting 5 to 7 days a week, every single day. And I would say I'm about 92% successful with doing that every day. Now I post 5 to 6 days a week. But it's that consistency and that consistent message. I now have 12,000 followers on Instagram organically. Wow. So it's mind blowing. But it's that consistency, persistency that keeps that message coming through. So every time someone sees it, whether they know me, like me, or anywhere in between, they see my video and I have branding on my trucks. But if they see me or hear the name Chris Thompson, I want them to think real estate. And I pump that message out every day. And it's that consistency that, our retail real estate market is really tight here, with the rates and no inventory, all the things that go into that. But thankfully, my phone's still ringing, not as much, but my phone's still ringing with people that want to do business because I'm so visible that they know, hey, this guy's still doing it. This guy's still doing it. Yeah. Is it tougher out there right now? Absolutely. But this guy's out here every day and he's telling us what he's doing.
So you,
Most of my videos are the reels. I try to keep them 60 seconds or less because ultimately, I'm not selling a package, I'm not selling a program, I'm not selling really good food or music or anything like that. But so many people love watching my stuff, and that was one of the biggest hurdles to get over. I'm like, I'm boring. I love my life, but I'm boring. I don't see why people would want to follow me and what I do on a daily basis. Thankfully, I was wrong because it's phenomenal, and I get a good amount of business off of social media.
let me ask you. I mean, you know, most of these real estate education programs have a Facebook page for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, to my understanding, or LinkedIn, let's go start there, does not really have groups per se like Facebook does.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, it seems to me, I may be wrong, does not have groups like Facebook does. All the real estate education platforms have a Facebook page for their community of students.
Mm-hmm.
With that, is there a different strategy to branding with Instagram or LinkedIn versus Facebook for you?
Um, I mean, each one has a little different aspect of it. I mean, the two kind of night and days, I think, are more like Instagram versus LinkedIn. So Instagram loves hashtags. You could put up the 30 hashtags on a post. That's going to draw you more visibility. LinkedIn hates hashtags. I learned that very quickly because I just went in and started posting the same content everywhere. Now, on LinkedIn, I will kind of adjust the verbiage or the language that I put on it um, to be more professional instead of just how I normally talk. Because I type how I talk. Um, but there again, that's also part of my brand. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah.
But on LinkedIn, I'm going to put forth a little more professional look because that's a professional page. Instagram is the fun. Here's all the things. So on Instagram, my writing is generally not a lot, versus on LinkedIn, it's going to be a little bit lengthier because I'm more so talking directly to those people versus just, hey, look at this stuff.
And
Um,
now you're marketing for Facebook, or you're branding for Facebook. I mean, how does that apply? We've got a lot of people on the call right now, or it's in the real estate education world, that have a
mhm.
Facebook page. I mean, every community says if you don't have a Facebook page to join our community, create a Facebook page and join our community.
It's true.
What's your take on branding via Facebook? Maybe
So
how you
branding via
brand or
Facebook. A Facebook post, no hashtags. A Facebook reel, fill it with hashtags. Um, your community pages. So if I do a post on just regular Facebook and I'm doing something on an investor, I will find those local communities. So if I'm working in Ohio, I will find the 3 or 4 different groups and I will mark those different groups. So I'm posting in there. Um, for example, the sub two page, I will go in there, and especially in there, you want to tag as many people as you can so your post is more visible. So I think within the sub two community overall, I have the high achieving or top contributor. That's what it is.
yeah, contributor.
But so it's posting consistently. It's posting random questions, or you have a thought pop in your head, post it on there, tag a bunch of people. It may not go anywhere. You may get flooded with inquiries. Some of that's the algorithm. Some of that's just nobody's on at the time you post. But
Yeah,
don't just post one time. If you have a deal, you can't just set it and forget it. We would all love to, because then we didn't have to work as hard. But if you're not in there consistently posting that thing every
yeah,
day, it's not going to be visible and you're not going to get as much traction.
yeah. That is so true. I heard somewhere down the line, might have been through Bob McIntosh, who's another networking, real estate, madman, but something along the lines of, when it comes to social media, people have a 48 hour window of memory. They can maybe remember what happened, like they'll know what happened yesterday and maybe 2 days ago, but 3 days, forget it. So if
Well,
you're not posting regularly, your name's not going to be in people's face.
right.
And people even wonder about posting. It's, just posting to your own page allows you to come up in the news feed of all your friends. Now, if you've got a whole bunch of influence, some people are like, oh, I got all these great people on my friends list. Well, fantastic. But if you're not posting, they're not going to see you on a regular basis.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
just to throw some of my little tips on the tail end. Uh, Facebook is a visual forum. So I tell people all the
Yes.
time, add a photo, add a GIF image, add a website link. If you don't have a photo, don't have a website link. There's a gazillion crazy, funny little moving cartoonish GIF images which draw attention to your post.
Yep.
You cannot count on the value of your content to be enough to stop people from scrolling.
2 seconds to catch somebody's attention.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's all marketing, branding, everything. You have 2 seconds to get somebody's attention to even look at whatever it is you just posted. If you want them to continue, that's your meat and potatoes in your content of your post. But you have 2 seconds to capture those people's attention.
Oh yeah. And then with Facebook, gives visibility to people depending upon how much engagement they create. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't realize that when they do a post, add the GIF image to add a question to their post because the
Mm-hmm.
question drives engagement.
Yes.
Without a
Engagement's the key to the
question,
whole thing.
yeah, it's about driving engagement. And it works on the flip side as well for people commenting on someone else's post.
Yeah.
Don't just put congratulations, good job, welcome to the family, but ask a question. Are you in wholesaling or rehabbing? Are you
Right.
a private money lender? Are you in Alabama or Nebraska? Uh, how long have you been in the group?
What's your market? What's your buy box?
Anything.
What can you offer? What can I offer you?
Well, it's crazy. One of my favorite stories is, let's say, for example, and this is purely hypothetical, somebody posts a picture of a house that they've acquired. It's
Mm-hmm.
got a blue front door and brand new windows with stickers on there, right? So I tell folks, well, don't just comment, nice house. Put, why'd you paint the door blue? Do you care why they painted the door blue? Not at all. You want to generate engagement. And as you generate engagement, now the person that made the post knows who you are. They're
Yeah.
responding to your comment. They respond to your comment. Great. Ask another question. Oh, by the way, what was the lead time on the windows? Do you care what the lead time on the windows is? No.
Yeah.
Like say, for example, you post a photo of a house. I'm going to ask those questions because I now want Chris Thompson to know my name. And
Yeah.
then I
Just
message you.
ask questions
Yeah, yeah, ask. Yeah, questions drives engagement. Um,
all day long.
I want to shift gears for a second.
Yep.
Um, Power Hour. What's Power Hour?
So Power Hour is cold calling, and we get a big group together. So this was right. I got asked to be the leader. Had no idea, and I was at the mastermind. Well, the Houston group, Jeff Smith, Jeremy, starts with an M. I can't figure it out, and his wife Jennifer. They had already started a Power Hour and were doing great with it. So, and they did a little bit of a presentation of it at the mastermind. So I was like, "There's my in. That's how I can help more people." So I picked their brain for probably an hour that evening while we were there, jumped on a Zoom with Jeremy and Jennifer after we got home for probably another hour, and just overall kind of got their template of what they're doing. And then that's when I reached out to Brian and BJ and we're like, hey guys, I just got asked to step up and do something. I have this idea. Do you guys want to do it with me? And so we started that and we shut it down for the holidays, just because everybody's busy doing other things. So, but we ran it for 18 weeks straight. But essentially, so Brian, BJ, and we would buy the list, we would skip trace them, and then we'd show up every Saturday. We partnered with a title company here locally that we already use. So it's more so, hey, we're already doing business with you. Can we borrow your office for a couple hours on Saturday? It worked out perfectly because they're generally in their Saturday mornings anyways, catching up on whatever it is they're catching up on. So it's a benefit to each of us because they're already there. We can use their space for free. All we have to do is send them deals. It's a win-win for both.
That's great.
So that helped a ton. So we would get a group together, and we started with probably, I think our first one, we had like 8 people. At the height, we had 25 or 26 people. Um, but on average, I'd say we were averaging probably 16 people a week that were showing up. And we'd get through anywhere on average about 300 calls in 1 hour of calling.
Cool.
That's huge. So not only
Yeah.
are we getting, potentially more leads, we're also teaching people how to make these cold calls, because overall cold calling by yourself, it's not fun.
Yeah.
But when you do it in a group and you're basically competing against each other, and you're like, sitting across from the person next to you, or sitting across from a person. Hey, I bet I will get somebody to answer before you will. And you make games out of it and you make it fun.
Cool.
For our first one, we threw out a game of who's going to get told off first and the most. And we had a $5 prize. We had a tie. We had 2 winners. So we paid them out each $5.
Great.
But just make games out of it, make it fun, because ultimately cold calling is boring. And a lot of times all you're hearing is ring, 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 click, ring, 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 click. So you have to make it more fun, more enticing. And I think we were pretty successful at that. From that, we closed one deal that we picked up in week 12, and I think we finally closed it by like week 17. But we paid our callers out a $500 bonus. Everything that we can close, we'll pay out a $500 bonus. So that entices people to, one, come learn, grow, scale, but also there's a financial incentive to it as well. We still have probably 10 really good leads from that we're still working. There's one that I would have closed 2 months ago, but they had a family member that lost a job and needed a place to stay. So they just let them go live there. Okay, I can't hate on that. I talked to the seller 2, 3 weeks ago, and they're like, no, we still want to do the deal. We still want to do it sub 2. I think that's perfect, but let me get this family member back on their feet, and then we'll sell you the house.
Good for
Okay,
you.
great. So, and that's one thing that, especially for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, we all want it right now. We want to pick up the phone, make a phone call, close a deal.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? But the key is in the follow-up.
Oh,
So just
definitely.
before here, because we weren't doing great on our follow-ups, so we just had somebody that was consistently coming to our power hour groups. We just had them come on board, and had a meeting with them, and was like, hey, are you interested in helping us out with the follow-up calls? Overall, she was all in. We're like, all right, so we're looking for maybe 4 to 5 hours a week of just the follow-up calls. You get them to the point, and myself or Brian will come in and close them. Or once you learn enough, then you're just going to be the manager, and we'll have 2 or 3 people under you, and then you're going to be the closer. And then only on the really tough ones, bring them to Brian and I. It's the same system that Pace uses. Again, don't reinvent the wheel, just copy what they're teaching us.
Perfect. That sounds freaking awesome.
But yeah, so we're actually getting ready to get ramped back up with the power hour starting in January. But we'll bring in some guest speakers. We'll do an education piece. Ultimately, our power hour was almost 3 hours, two and
Is
a half to
that
three
local
hours.
for your community only, or is that like a Zoom
Yeah.
where people can
We
participate?
opened it up to everybody.
Okay.
So we had some TTP, some Astro, some people not even in a community. They just sold the branding and the marketing, and were interested.
Is this local to your region? I mean, is it a live thing, or can people like
Yeah,
dial in through Zoom and watch what's going on?
no, we made it in person only, just to as more create those connections. We had a lot of people that are like, "Hey, I want to come, but I can Zoom in." Sorry, it's in person only. And as kind of like a give back, kind of the end of the summer, we did a big barbecue just out in the parking lot
What was
afterwards.
that?
It was awesome. I went and hit Costco and bought a bunch of burgers, dogs, just some basic barbecue stuff. Threw the grill in the back of my truck. A couple other people brought some stuff, and we all just hung out in the parking lot for another 2 hours. And we're like, "Oh, this is awesome. Let's just hang out and
That's great.
talk about real estate more." So
Yeah.
it's the community aspect of it. The bigger and the better and the faster you can build that community, the better off everyone in that group's going to do. And the more everyone's going to scale faster because each person is taking one piece of this big of a pie, which is awesome. I don't want a pie this big. I want a piece of it because I don't want to have to do the whole thing. I want to do this much of it. So this is the piece of the pie that I want. And then JJ, you're on the team. So you're going to take this piece and Brian's going to take this piece and so on and so forth. So we all want all of it all ourselves, but we don't all want to work for it. I get it.
And then when you get more people, you can get more pies kicked out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you start with two people with a dream and a mission, one integrator, one visionary, and then that grows into 10 people. Okay, great. Now you're pumping out 4, 5, 6 pies versus one.
That's excellent. No, man, you got some serious gold nuggets here today. I don't want to go forever because I know we can. Let's kind of wind down a second so we can get to some breakout rooms afterwards.
Yeah.
I got 2 last questions for you before we kind of wrap things up here.
All right.
Well, even before we get to that, with your power hour, I'm going to say, let's promote that to my group of 4,000 because I know we got a whole bunch of people in your area that
Perfect.
by seeing that from multiple education communities would be available. We can help your group locally.
By that'd be awesome.
My group. So let's definitely follow up on that. But
yeah.
If people want to follow up with you, they've got questions about branding, they've got questions about partnerships, they want to participate in your power hour. What's the best way to reach you? Is it through your MySpace page, through your TikTok?
I would say Instagram would be the best one. On Instagram, I'm working on changing everything over so everything's uniform, but Instagram is the same as YouTube, but it's just Chris Thompson Real Estate. I have an iPhone, so I use the note section of the iPhone I keep my hashtags. So I have my investor stuff, I have my retail stuff, I have my Maryland stuff, I have my Pennsylvania stuff, my Ohio stuff, my Florida stuff. And each one, and every so often, go look at other people's stuff and see what they're posting. If they're ranking higher or your visibility is starting to shrink a little bit, go look at some of the people that are the high end of that stuff and go copy what they're doing because clearly it's working.
Yeah, there was a phrase that was given to me by my prior education community, which was swipe it. Steal with integrity, pride, and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So swipe it and make it work for you. It's not there's not a trademark on anything, and if it's working for somebody else, make it work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Instagram is the best way to reach you.
Yes.
My last question for you. My group's a networking group. I'm talking about networking all the friggin' time.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of it. I know sometimes people hear me as a talking head, and here he goes again. But from yourself, as someone who's been in real estate for your whole professional life, you've come into Sub 2 and quickly accelerated to the ranks of one of the accountability leaders in the country. Every real estate education platform has a Facebook page for their community.
Mm-hmm.
We have new, inexperienced investors coming to the communities, as well as experienced investors coming to the communities. Some of them know Facebook, some of them don't. They're using Facebook to participate in these groups. With that said, what's the importance of networking via social media to the success of someone's business? And I'll take it a step further. What's the importance of joining a group like mine to the success of someone's business?
Networking is everything. We've heard it probably a bazillion times, but your network equals your net worth. And it's so true. It's so paramount. I'm actually still doing deals. We got a really, really hard one that we're trying to get done. But the first time I got on one of your calls, I'm still working with 3 or 4 people that I've met in the breakout room from, hey, hey, here's my strengths. What can I help you with? And, somebody else, hey, here's my strengths. What can I help you with? And it just was a good match and we hit it off. And I'm like, hey, I'm a closer. I'm great on the phone. Let me hear your troubles and let me see if I can help you out with anything. I may not be the right person, but hey, I know JJ, he's even more fire on the phone than I am. I guarantee he can close this deal for you. Or I'll take it on, and if I stumble, I'll stumble, won't make anywhere. Hey, you need to go to the next level and
Yeah.
call, you need to call JJ if you need a fire closer. Manif, I love that guy.
Jennifer Sheldon.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Manif. Yeah.
And there's bazillions of them out there, and especially with sub two, there's like 30 hours of live Zoom. If you can't get a question answered, you're not asking the right person, or you're not asking correctly, or you're not asking enough. But ultimately, the Zoom Vault also, there's all the answers in there. You just got to go find them. We all want the easy button because, easier is better, of course, but it's the grinding, it's the doing the boring things consistently, like posting. I get up roughly at 5:30 every morning, and by 7 a.m., that video is posted and it's done. It's off my plate. I'm moving on.
There
But
you
that
go.
is such a huge part of my business that if I stopped doing it, my visibility would disappear.
Yeah.
People
And
would think if I stop posting, people think I'm out of the business.
yeah.
So when I travel, I try to preset everything so that it automatically loads. Doesn't always happen. And then sometimes when I'm just too busy doing stuff, that video may not be posted by 7 a.m., but it's still going to get posted by 7 p.m. And then the more consistent you are, all the different algorithms are going to see that and they're going to promote your stuff, because ultimately all these different platforms want to keep eyes on their platform because that's how they make money.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely, man. This is awesome.
For joining us today. All the gold nuggets you're dropping. I see people taking notes on the call in the little windows up there.
Making
Um,
me feel important.
I'm I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you. We've spoke a couple times now. We're getting to know one another better and developing that friendship, which is the most important aspect to real estate, because real estate's about relationships, and that means not chasing the deal, but chasing the relationship, and that means the friendship. And can't wait to have you out to California to my new house, and you
Dude,
know,
I'm so stoked to see that place.
do some fun stuff out here. It's going to be a networking mecca, brother. Believe me. So if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please hit the little like button. Please like Chris's video. Please in the comment section of the YouTube video, please put what your takeaways were, what you thought was helpful, how we could maybe improve a little bit. If you want to get hold of Chris on his Instagram channel, which is Chris Thompson Real Estate. Want to connect with myself, find my webpage, jjazizian.com. I'm not going to spell it. It's on the YouTube channel, jjazizian.com. And there's a little pulsating register now button. Register for my group. We'll get you in here. Come back again, guys. Please continue to watch Flip Side with Jage. We're going to have more great speakers coming up in the future. Maybe not as great as Chris Thompson, but now we set the standard. See what we can do. Again, if you want to connect with Chris, get with Chris on Instagram. Follow me on my website. And come look for both of us on social media. We're both out here. We're here to help you.
Yes,
And if you're on the call, do not go away. We're going to go do some breakout rooms right now and do some live networking. Everybody else, please join us. We'll see you soon. Over and out.